Alrighty, guys, so we have some very unfortunate breaking news to bring to you from the NFL. And if you do not know, at the end of Thursday Night Football, in a matchup between the Cleveland Browns and Pittsburgh Steelers, towards the end of the game with the Browns up 21-7, game that, with about 20 seconds left, game's pretty much about to be in the books. And, you see this all the time in football, little fights breaking out on the field, guys getting after it. And so Mason Rudolph had been sacked essentially. And when he went down to the ground, they were getting into it. And Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns, what he ended up eventually doing is he aggressively grabbed the helmet of Mason Rudolph and then went over the top with the helmet and grazed him off the side of the head. And thankfully that the hit was not too hard on Mason Rudolph. He did not go down. The first reaction that he had, of course, was to the refs about a penalty being called. And several weeks ago, there was concern from the rookie quarterback Mason Rudolph on a hit that occurred in a game against the Ravens. As for, a few seconds, it appeared that Rudolph had gone unconsciousness. So, this is just a horrible incident in football. This is not at all what we want to see as football fans. This is not good for the game of football. When you look at football already with how dangerous the sport is, these football players are risking their lives out there because we're talking, they're risking their life after football. And to a lot of people, risking life after football is oftentimes not worth it. And so what you see is that, players retire from football because, the risks are just not worth it. And so the last thing we needed to have happen was another potential dangerous situation to occur non-football related, meaning away from the play. Of course, this was post-play when this incident happened. And the NFL was quick to make some legal action against, or I shouldn't say legal action, but to make a suspension of Myles Garrett. So Myles Garrett will now be suspended for the remainder of the 2019 season. Now, after the incident with Myles Garrett swinging over the top with the helmet and striking Mason Rudolph, Pittsburgh Steelers center, guys, Maurice Pouncey, he ended up proceeding to kick and punch Garrett. And so Pouncey, he is going to be receiving a 3-game suspension. And then one of the Browns defensive tackle, Larry Okazu, he will be suspended 1 game. Now, other suspensions could be coming up as the NFL continues to do its investigation on this play and everything that happened. Of course, there is a lot to sort. In other related news on this, guys, Mason Rudolph will not, in fact, take legal action against Myles Garrett. So I think this is a really good thing in the sense that Mason Rudolph was the one that really started this whole fight, but it really took Myles Garrett, acting out of character. And this is the really unfortunate thing when in life, when we get in these kind of situations, when we're angry, we tend to do things that we would never do. And I think this is a direct result from really the devil just whispering in our ears, trying to get us to do acts that, again, just do not accurately reflect, our character. And for Myles Garrett, of course, if he could have, go back in time and undo what he did, I'm sure he wouldn't have acted in that kind of a way. And it's just unfortunate, that this event occurred. But again, thankfully, no one got hurt. And you hope for Myles Garrett's sake that, unfortunately now he'll probably be remembered as the guy that did this act on a football field. But, at this point, all that he can really do moving forward is take the necessary action steps, to prove that this is not who he is as an individual and as his character. So, guys, we're going to read you Myles Garrett's statement following the incident. So he said, "Last night, I made a terrible mistake. I lost my cool, and what I did was selfish and unacceptable. I know that we are all responsible for our actions, and I can only prove my true character through my actions moving forward. I want to apologize to Mason Rudolph my teammates, our entire organization, our fans, into the NFL. I know I have to be accountable for what happened, learn from my mistake, and I fully intend to do so. Now, at the end of the year, guys, he will have to make a reinstatement case with Roger Goodell to be able to get back into the NFL. Now, one of the Raider players, the name is skipping off the top of my head right now, but he was suspended for, excessive, unnecessary roughness hits against players. And when he met with Roger Goodell, apparently, he was quoted as saying it was just a very, very awkward, negative meeting. I mean, Roger Goodell already had the suspension papers in hand. There was never a whole lot of talking things over about the situation, maybe coming to a consensus agreement about how severe, a suspension should be and how many games and that kind of a matter. And so with this type of situation with Myles Garrett, I mean, obviously it makes sense to be suspended for the rest of the year. But in his case, like we said, you hope he takes it as a learning lesson. He's able to become a better man from this experience. And now people obviously may never change how they perceive him. But, at the end of the day, what matters is for him to make an effort, for him to show to his teammates, to the Cleveland Browns, to the NFL, to his family, that this is not the type of individual that he is. So I feel for Myles Garrett in this case. You tend to always want to have, empathy for people when they make mistakes in life. And, you feel for Mason Rudolph too, because he could have gotten severely injured in this type of play. And so thankfully he's okay. And, you just hate to see these types of incidents occur on the football field. But again, it's something that we need to be aware that these kind of things can happen. And, sometimes the best thing to do when you're angry is to take a step back, to reflect on what's happening before you continue taking action. Now, in the heat of the moment, it's really hard to kind of pause and take a step back and reflect. But I think in life, we don't do this enough. Self-reflection, we don't pause. So I think, meditation is something that I think is really key to avoid these types of circumstances from playing out, because the reality is, you guys, you never gain anything from reacting negative to a particular situation in life. So let's always remember that, and let's learn from, this situation and hope that, it's not going to happen again. And, also the NFL to do what's right, to make sure that these types of incidents do not continue to happen into the future. And that includes, the unnecessary hits that we see against players, where players getting hurt and things like that. So we will continue to see how all of this is going to play out. And so, guys, I hope you enjoyed this perspective on this unfortunate, news that came out of the end of Thursday Night Football. But if you made it to the end of the video, guys, and you like the perspective, then be sure to smash the like button, smash the subscriber button, and smash that bell button if you have not done so already, if you would like to be notified when brand new videos are coming out for all the latest NFL breaking news. So let me know, guys, down in that comment section, what are your thoughts on the fight that broke out, the crazy brawl between Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on it, especially Steeler fans and Browns fans. So let me know out there. And as always, guys, until next time, I will see you guys again. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.